On today's Toy Spot, we are having a look at the DC Collectibles, the DC Universe animated movie, Son of Batman. We're having a look today at Batman. Spot's a little behind on getting a review of these guys finally up. It was a line of figures definitely wanted to pick up and review, so we're going to be having a look at that over the course of the next couple of videos. First things first, be fitting to be looking at the Cape Crusader before we have a look at all the other figures that make up this line. There's only really 4 figures in this line, but a pretty good solid line as a whole. The back of the package features the 4 characters in this set, the series here. We have Batman, we have Robin, Nightwing, and Deathstroke. This comes to us from the folks over at DC Collectibles, and also down below you can go to www.dccomics.com. Spot's going to take a break and get this opened up. When we come back, we're going to get a better look at the DC Universe animated movie, Son of Batman, Batman. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Having a look at the Cape Crusader, he's a pretty good looking figure. In fact, the one consistent thing that I've noticed with all the figures from this set is the very crisp looking panel lining that's on their suits. Batman is certainly no exception, as there's panel lining all down his thighs, around the torso area, even around his arms. Interesting thing to note as well, he's got almost the appearance of rivets in the shoulder areas of his arms, and the rest of the figure pretty much is just one color. It's this one gray color with a bit of this darker, I almost want to say purpley based gray, making up his cowl, his cape, and then his boots and his gloves. He's also got some gray on the under glove area, I guess if you want to call it that. You can see it a little more prevalent on this hand right here, this gray that makes up the under hand area. It's interesting that they would have painted that. I'm not knocking at all the fact that they would have. I appreciate it. But it's interesting that for such a small area that they would have taken the time to paint that. They do, however, tease you with the fact that his hands are partially open, though he doesn't come with any sort of accessories to speak of. His face is good. I don't really have much in the way of complaints for his face. It seems very anime looking. Just the way that he's coming across here. It certainly also doesn't help either that he's got the pink in his lips, but it's a pretty faithful translation, I think, from the series, from the animated movie, to a figure treatment. You guys certainly have indicated to Spot a couple of times as well when Spot was having a look at the Justice League War figures. I commented that I wish there had been a Batman included in that set, and a lot of you guys let me know down below saying that yes, in fact, if I had just gotten the Son of Batman, essentially it's pretty much the same sort of figure that could fall in line with the Green Lantern, the Flash, the Batman, or the Superman, and the Wonder Woman. I do like his cape. I do like the nice slender cape. Billows out at the bottom though, and he's still got the very faithful points at the bottom of his cape as well. Cape sits a little loose, not too much though, but speaking of loose, this one leg right here is a little bit loose on my figure. Also, speaking of which, speaking of loose, it's not really even so much loose, but I don't like his ears. His ears, I wish... It's a bittersweet pill, because really, if his ears had been a more solid plastic, these could have been more prone to breaking off. At least they're rubbery. They can move, they can bend and stuff like that. But the downside, though, is getting it out of packaging. You might even start seeing it now. Maybe not, I don't know. But the ears start warping, and it's just because when he was in his package, the ears got crushed. Some nice side details as well. The indication of an ear. There's Bruce Wayne's ear underneath the cowl. I like that. That's a nice touch. Yeah, he's a very clean looking figure. I got absolutely no complaints from the design end of it. I just, again, wish his legs were just a little more, not as loose, I would say. As a side note too, also really digging the utility belt. And it does look like it would be painted, although the sections of the utility belt are actually raised, these sections right here. So it's not just a simple painted surface over top of the torso. So I like that. I do like that. But this panel lining, I'm digging. Wasn't so crazy about it when it was on the Batman, like the new 52 Batman, but it seems to work for me here in figure form when it comes to Son of Batman. For your articulation, Batman's head is on a very nice ball joint. No problems there. Shoulders are a little more problematic. I mean, I feel like I can move them easily enough forward and back, but when you start moving them out, I feel like the cape section here really wants to compete with it. Biceps swivel also in the arms, and as well there's a hinge and rotation in the forearms themselves. There is no swivel to speak of in the wrists. As a side note as well, these little bladed pieces on his gloves, a little more pointed, so be careful you don't prick yourself here. They're not sharp or anything like that, but you will feel them when you start moving the arm. He has absolutely no torso swivel, nor does he have a waist swivel, but then the legs on a nice ball joint. You can move them very easily that way. There's no waist, thigh swivel here. However, the knees do bend. Not by much though. As you can see, that's pretty much as far back as they go, and I already got a little bit of paint flaking off onto my fingers when I was moving that. Again, the leg only moves to really about that. His feet aren't flat. Surprisingly enough, they're not flat. They kind of make it so that you have to bend the knee in order for him to stand properly. And you have to do a little bit of adjusting between the legs and the knees to get him to properly stand. I don't know why they opted for this kind of... You can even see, like, if I hold it up this way, the figure is standing straight, but you can kind of see how the foot wants to bevel out this way. So I'm not really crazy about that. But as a whole, though, I do like the look of the figure. And that, above all else, I think I like the look of the figure. Kind of wish he was put together a little bit better. Kind of wish he also had some accessories. But the overall design, I do care for quite a bit. Batman from the Son of Batman, I'm going to give him an 8. I really like that panel lining. Today's Toy Spot, we were having a look at the DC Collectibles Batman Son of Batman. And we're having a look today at the Caped Crusader Batman. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have a look at the other 3 figures from the Son of Batman line. Stay tuned for those, and I'll see you guys next time.